This week on Not Just a Hat Rack, we're going to talk about the last week of wrestling that we had. We got some Saturday Night's Main Event. They announced finally what Rhea Ripley's status is, whatever the crap was on Raw last night. Also, the big deal. The bigger deal is probably the women's thing. A big deal is we're getting Nick Aldis against Gunther. I prayed for it. It happens. Let's go. This is July 21st, 2026, and this is episode 8. Hold on to your hats. First of all, we're going to talk a little out of order because Saturday's Main Event was decent. The Women's Tag Team Championship changed hands after Fatal Influence earned a title shot. How they got a title shot? Because they were hot, they were cold, they were tepid, and now they are Women's Tag Champions. You finally have a Women's Tag Team that seems like a tag team. At least was brought up as a tag team. There's no really tag teams to fight. I don't know if the Bellas are going to get back together. Maybe Nikki will come back, and that'll be a big SummerSlam thing where, it's actually the Bellas now, and then they'll just win it back. Paige either will fall into the awful U.S. women's title scene. The tag team match with Punk and Cody, Gunther, and Sammy was really good. I think it was about 15 minutes. Beginning to end, it was pretty high energy. They did a lot of good shit in that match, and I wasn't expecting Gunther and Sammy to win because why would you set up the first match in 18 years, 1v1, Cody and CM Punk, if you're just going to switch it to a four-way. The four-way makes sense, though, because Gunther and Sammy have every right to claim they need a title shot as well. But they could have used, I think, Saturday Night's Main Event to have Sammy's rematch with Punk, or Gunther could have a match with Punk. And then, obviously, Punk's going to go through, but Punk and Cody at SummerSlam. What are we going to get at SummerSlam? Now that Cody and Punk are definitely one-on-one, I mean, is it going to be a special match? Is it going to be stipulation? Is Cody going to be the one to turn? Because I think the way they set it up on the kickoff show was CM Punk said to Cody, all your friends, Cena, Randy, all these guys, they stabbed you in the back or kicked you in the nuts. And it's just funny because Cody always gets kicked in the nuts leading up to WrestleMania. The fact that Punk is saying he's not going to turn, this is just a match. It's a straight up match. We're still going to be friends after this. Cody's going to have a hard time with that. Cody's going to be the one, maybe not full heel, but he's been on that borderline. And so it'd be nice to see what they're going to do. I personally want to see Cody without the title, not going after the title. So if Punk can knock off Cody, Cody goes off the deep end. Going into War Games, maybe we get Cody on the bad guy side. I hope there's no bloodline War Games again, because we've done that already. Now that Sammy's truly turned to the dark side, we could get, Sammy solo down the line. We'll talk about that after with what happened on Raw with Solo Sikoa that made absolute zero sense. And even LA Knight came out during Raw to say how much sense Solo was not making. Actually, I'll talk about it right now. Skip ahead. Not off topic, not off topic. So Solo Sikoa came out. It was just funny because LA Knight came out and interrupted Seth Rollins the week before, or 2 weeks, whatever it was, to say, hey, brother, let's get a haircut, brother. Beautiful, funny shit. And basically told Seth Rollins that, you and Roman are just holding guys like us down. Guys like me, you're just pushing us down. And Seth said, Seth said, when I win the world title back that I did not lose, I will give you a shot. Which, of course, as everybody that listens to the channel knows, if LA Knight can get a title shot, I'll take it. I don't think he'll win, but it keeps him high profile. And that's what I mean. Like LA Knight is not top mid card; he's bottom higher card, which is a little different than the Baron Corbin situation. I want. I want Baron Corbin to be that high mid card, fighting for the U.S. title amongst those guys. I mean, maybe Ilya Dragunov will return. We can get some fun matches there. Oh, I never even thought about that. Baron Corbin and Ilya Dragunov. Hook that to my veins, and that's when you bring back Dijak. I need it. Need it in my blood. But anyway, so LA Knight had come out after Solo came out and said, I can protect you the way you helped Cody beat Roman. You need me because this, like Seth doesn't know Roman better than anybody. Seth doesn't know. Seth fought Roman before the Bloodline. Seth fought with Roman after the Bloodline, since the Bloodline. Seth knows. And so if Seth really needs to think about, you know what, Solo? You were on Roman's side, and now you're not, and so you're trying to tell me, I don't know. I've been on Roman's side before. We were the Shield before the Bloodline. The fact that Solo figured he needs to protect Seth. LA Knight comes out later for his match with Jacob Fatu, and basically says, I don't know what the fuck Solo's thinking. Like, we have the opportunity to take out Jimmy, Jay, and Jacob Fatu, Jingleheimer Schmidt. Love that promo. If Solo were to think about it, it's like, you know what? You're right. Like, that's how we are helping Seth. We're helping Seth we're going to take those guys out so they won't be able to interfere or help in that match. Even though it's 2 nights and they'll have like fucking 18 hours and, rest and stuff. Like, but the point is, they're there to take out the bloodline. Royce Keys is moving up into high profile, Being put alongside this story is beautiful for Royce. And I believe having LA Knight, Solo, it's very weird. It's a weird dynamic, but it's funny how they just can fit LA Knight into that. They fit LA Knight into this. He literally can fill any slot. LA Knight is the guy he's the guy you can rely on for promos. He's the guy you can rely on he's becoming like a Drew McIntyre. Before even winning a title, he's becoming a man above the title. I'll state that claim right now. LA Knight, I want a world title on him. Just like Sami Zayn's Ride or Dies wanted a title on him. It's been a long time. It's not a validation. It is and it isn't. Like I talked before, like guys like Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, obviously, Mr. Perfect, Ted DiBiase, these guys worked hard. You remember them, and they stand out as those guys that, damn, they were so good, and they didn't have a title run. But they were so good that you remember them. They didn't need a title run. If LA Knight never gets a title run, and I almost think it won't matter. I'm probably just trying to convince myself that, but I don't think it'll matter. With LA Knight, he is above a title. If he gets a shot, it works. If he doesn't get a shot, he's doing just fine. And so I'm really happy LA Knight's in the position he's in. WWE is using him in every situation they can, and it works. So there's not many people you could have go from teaming with the Usos at WrestleMania to teaming against the Usos at SummerSlam. And there's a story there. So after putting the Vision in his rearview mirror, and because the Vision is wrestling with, Alpha Academy, because that's top tier. Braun Breaker went from wrestling for the world title and having these big matches with Seth to teaming with Austin Theory and his quote-unquote girlfriend Maxine with Logan Paul hanging out injured. If the Vision is so shitty, Logan Paul has to show up on TV injured. They normally do not have, other than Chelsea Green, if you're injured, you don't show up on TV. I'm sorry. I don't care if it's you're going to be back in a month, storyline, you want to keep it going? Nope, you stay the fuck home. You don't come to, and there's Logan Paul, because they don't have Paul Heyman, they don't have Bronson Reed, and Braun Breaker is just in the background. Braun Breaker needs to break away from the Vision, and I'll even take Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin again as a team. Give Braun Breaker something fresh. If you want him in the tag division, you bring back the Wolf Dogs. We all know how the Wolf Dogs did in NXT, and I think at that time NXT was really, they were part of the reason NXT was able to get back to from the 2.0 era, that where Braun Breaker debuted and it was all colors and stuff, and then when they changed over to make it a little more serious and dark, you had guys like Dijak and Baron Corbin in there doing it, and Braun Breaker was able to be that guy that he did the heel face heel run, or the face heel fail, however they did back and forth. They did the same thing with Trick Williams. He had that extra time where he was able to do heel, face, tag, really flesh out everything you could do with him in NXT. And then when you bring him up, he's ready. Unfortunate injuries here and there, but other than that, it sucks to see Braun Breaker in the position he's in now. And it's not his fault. It's just somebody with the pen back there does not know what they're doing. And then someone wanted me to take what I said last week about Roman Reigns and turn it up to 11, because this week's Unhinged moment is brought to you by Saturday night's main event. After that tag match. Ooh, right, that tag match. Who slides out under the ring? Nick Aldis in a suit. I wish Joe Tessitore was there. It's Drew McIntyre in a hoodie. He could have been like, it's Nick Aldis in a suit crawling out under the ring. Like, if you're crawling out from under the ring, shouldn't you be like have hidden there all day? Like, Nick Aldis is just all suited up. Like, it was just funny. It's a funny visual, but knowing what was going to happen was more exciting. Actually, I guess I should talk about that first. The build of Nick Aldis and Gunther that I've been covering every week and watching and making and putting out in the world. And I even said it last week. It's not happening, but I want it to happen. So I'm going to keep saying it's happening, but not happening, going to happen, want to happen, however the words are. But now that Nick Aldis came out of under the ring, cost Gunther and Sammy the match, and then we had the kickoff show and the push, the shove, the Triple H coming in saying, "Hey, I'm the game. You want to wrestle at SummerSlam? Let's get Nick Aldis versus a Gunther." So now we're getting Nick Aldis and Gunther. We have the graphic. It's here. It's coming. I'm probably more excited for this match than any other match because we don't have Drew McIntyre. We don't have Rhea Ripley. The LA Knight match I'm excited for because of the position he's in. There's a match that was announced last night on Raw that we are not... Listen, I enjoy Danhausen as much as the next guy, but Danhausen versus Dominic Mysterio at SummerSlam feels forced. Danhausen is popular. You want him in a match. Dominic Mysterio has done nothing all year. Maybe more in AAA, obviously, because he's the champion there. But he's hanging out with Liv, who's also doing nothing. JD is having more matches than these people. And the fact that Danhausen beat him with the basketball shit and stuff. Actually, I gotta get back to that. The unhinged moment. Roman Reigns comes out with Basketball Boy and holds the basketball title with basketball guy fucking Timu Dennis Rodman and Timu Karl Malone out here like they're trying to do DDP versus Hogan, but it's Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns as the last thing of the night. Now, I'm lucky enough to be in Canada, and I don't have to pay for Peacock. I don't have to pay for USA Network. I don't have to pay for ESPN. I get it all on Netflix, and Saturday Night's Main Event is on YouTube. So YouTube has the whole show. I'm like, oh, it's decent, 2 hour whatever. And once that tag team match was over, I was like, oh, right. There's still 25 minutes left. They announced Roman Reigns, beforehand, right? They had announced Roman Reigns coming out with basketball guy from the Knicks just to hang out and hold up their titles, and then the interruption. And it's Saturday Night's Main Event. It's literally usually just 4 or 5 matches, nothing in between, and we had this shit segment because Roman Reigns can't help himself. He's going to show up to work. He's like, well, I got to go on last. And Roman Reigns apparently has a southern accent a little bit. Or no, because he talks quiet. He's like, get the wise man. You tell the wise man that the tribal chief's here. He's going to chief the tribe. You know what I'm saying? I just can't handle it. I talked about before, the build Roman Reigns to CM Punk was too long. It was too long because there was too much of the same on TV. End of Raw, they come out and talk. They beat up each other. End of Raw, they back and forth. And it was like, I get it. It's Roman Reigns. He's holding the secondary title. But I don't give a shit about basketball. I'm a wrestling fan. And I only know that the Knicks won because they shoved it down our throats with Danhausen, which is fun. But then why isn't Danhausen out there celebrating? Why isn't Danhausen out there holding up the fucking title? He's the one who won the title with them. Roman just is the fucking guy that works for the company that Danhausen fucking built. Now that's a funny statement. So now we're getting Danhausen against Dominic Mysterio at SummerSlam. Actually, we'll back it up again. Before that, Danhausen's getting beaten up by the Judgment Day, so who comes out to help? Well, let's see. They're in the back, and they're like, oh, fuck, we need Danhausen to have a friend or a partner. Well, he doesn't have friends or partners. He's on both Raw and SmackDown, so it's like you can't really pull Matt Cardona or, the Kit Wilson and The Miz because they're taking the month off, just hanging out going, awesome. So Joe Hendry, who's like, you know what, hold on. I came and helped the Street Profits win the titles, and then they lost, so now I need something to do. Danhausen's beat up. It's 2v1. I'm Joe Hendry. He runs to the ring. He helps Danhausen. Well, now we had, I can't remember what the matches were. I think they did singles matches there. I don't know, Joe Hendry versus Dom? I can't even remember. I just watched it last night. Raw was very off for me. and and it which sucks because the main event on Raw, as opposed to the shit that we got on fucking Saturday Night's main event, was LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu. And that's why I'm upset again. LA Knight took the fucking pin. And I get you want to push the bad guys because the good guys will hopefully win at SummerSlam, but it's a 6-man tag. They could have had anything happen last night. I mean, Jey Uso returned, which is nice because he hasn't been there for a few weeks. He's been dealing with stuff. And I don't even know if that's why he's been off TV. But it's nice to see. But the fans are cheering for him. Jimmy comes out looking all rough. They're holding their fingers up, and it's like they really don't know who's cheering for who anymore. They're like, do you want people to cheer for Roman and these lackeys, or are we supposed to cheer for Solo? Are we supposed to cheer for Seth? Triple H needs to play fucking 2K because he's pissing himself off. He needs that reminder. Hey, you can't have face versus face, and the fans won't know who to cheer for. I'm the game. But the best thing to come out, oh no, I can't say the best thing to come out because it's unfortunate. They finally have announced Rhea Ripley's status for SummerSlam, and it sucks. But they're doing it different this time. Instead of stripping the title from her, they're going to do a interim women's championship, which has never been done as far as I know in WWE. I only heard of it through AEW, where if the women's champion's injured, well, we need someone to defend the title while you're in your absence. And when you return, it's almost like like Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon at WrestleMania 10. Shawn Michaels gave up the title, or he's injured, I can't remember what it was, and so then Razor Ramon won it. Shawn Michaels returns with the real title, so this is the closest thing they've ever had to something like that. And they have the ladder match, and they have the both titles up there. And Razor Ramon wins, being the ultimate Intercontinental Champion. So Rhea not being on TV, they're going to have this 5-woman, I think it's 5 women, ladder match at SummerSlam to determine the interim champion. And when Rhea returns, she will fight that interim champion. Although if the interim championship changes while she's gone, she would fight the new interim champion, I guess. I don't know how the lineage works with this. It's going to be interesting. So it's like, I mean, I guess there'll be an asterisk. You did win the women's championship, but it was while Rhea was champion. So Rhea's reign continues. It's a little confusing, and I think because, I mean, and as I'll give you full transparency there. As a WWE fan, it might sound a little confusing. So other WWE fans, I'm assuming, would be like, don't understand really what's going on with this. So anyway, Rhea being injured sucks. Being off TV sucks because she was just doing so much. But I think it was Jade went through. Oh, DQ, right? Because Charlotte beat her up, and I think Tiffany went through. So you got your U.S. champion fighting in a match for the WWE Championship. It's exactly what they did with Liv, and they had actually, well, I had to think about it for a second. Sol Ruka's the Intercontinental Champion, and now she's fighting Raquel again next week. For what? Like, Sol, as Simon Miller says, Sol, I don't show up to Raw anymore, Ruka. Like, every couple weeks, it's like, oh, here she is defending her title. Oh, disappears. No feud. We are 11, 12 days away from SummerSlam, and we have champions and people who are not in storylines, unless it's going to build to something bigger where she fights, Raquel or Roxanne, or Becky comes back. I don't know what they're doing. There's a lot of people off our TV that make no sense. Well, it makes sense that they're cooling people down or going to have whatever, but something about it is it just doesn't sit well. It doesn't sit well. But getting back to that ladies ladder match, I think it's a good and bold decision by WWE. So I'm excited for it. Whoever's in it. I mean, I think Nia Jax is like, and Nia Jax looking good. I don't know if, and I don't think that it's being forced. Like, there's a lot of women and a lot of people in WWE where they're like Bronson Reed looking good. Like you like that big man style, but I mean, like, if he's sitting back there while he's injured and he's just doing nothing but working out and getting ripped, Joker's gonna get real excited because he might wrestle without his shirt. And I'll tell you, When Jacob Fatu took his shirt off, Joker was like, finally Jacob's got his shirt off. He can wrestle. I can see those rock hard ab. It's not like he's ripped. He's fit. He's more fit than I am. I ain't saying I ain't no, I always say it, a keg will last all night. A six-pack will get you drunk, but a keg... Anyway, but as I said, the Nick Aldis, WWE fans... I mean, personally myself, I've seen one or two, and I talked about how when Nick Aldis got signed, I had the opportunity to see him live, and I almost went. And then I canceled because he was on Smackdown, and it was a Friday night event, so I wasn't able to see Nick Aldis live. And so I really have I watched part of the match with him and Cody, which is at the first All In. Like WWE somehow has taken so much AEW talent, or people that were in WWE that went to AEW and came back, that it's such a weird blend. Which makes sense, though, because people come and they go. But it's a nice landscape where if you can't wrestle in WWE, or if WWE doesn't want you, there is a place for you. And you can always come back if, like I'm sure we'll see Andrade back and forth about 6 more times in the next 10 years. Not that we want that, not that we need that. It's just going to happen. So I'm really excited to see, and I actually read this morning, something quick, that WWE was using SummerSlam to test to see how the fans react or how Nick Aldis does in the ring, to maybe have him be a wrestler moving forward and not a GM, which is fun, but that also means you're not going to do a career killer match, which would have been Gunther's shtick. Actually, no, that's what you could do. You could kind of cool off the Gunther, which kind of sucks because he's kind of cooled off already. But I mean, he ended all these careers because he was fighting these guys in their last match. But if he were to say, hey, Nick Aldis. I don't know. I don't know Gunther. Nick Aldis. No, that's fucking Drew McIntyre. That's bad. That's a horrible Drew McIntyre. Either way, Gunther and Nick Aldis, if it is a, career match where Gunther says, hey, if I beat you, this is your last match. Which is a more fun way to do it instead of, hey, Nick Aldis is wrestling his last match. Oh, it's going to be against Gunther. The way they did with everybody else. Like, Gunther earned the opportunity to fight Cena, but everyone knew Cena wasn't wrestling after that, so it doesn't matter who wins. It's his last match regardless. But if they build this one in the next week or so, which I guess will be this Friday, we'll see more. And then next Friday, I think they have one more SmackDown, obviously. 2 more SmackDowns total before SummerSlam. We're going to get, hopefully, either they're doing the career thing or not, but there's going to be a stipulation in line that if Gunther beats Nick Aldis, Nick is done wrestling, he has to retire. And if Nick Aldis beats Gunther, maybe they do you can never challenge for the WWE Championship again, as long as you're on SmackDown, which he just signed there, which keeps him away from the title, gives him other people to wrestle. Bring Drew McIntyre back. Give me Drew McIntyre Gunther one-on-one, since now we had lost Sheamus. That triple threat at WrestleMania was amazing years ago. So, man, and you could even Drew McIntyre might return as a face, I'm thinking. He could return as a face after Nick and Gunther. Nick wins. Gunther's pissing off everyone. Drew McIntyre comes out the SmackDown after SummerSlam, and challenges Gunther and all this shit, and then we get a build for Drew Gunther. But Drew can still be that heelish guy because he is. He tells truths, and he's not lying. He does get screwed. He's gonna come out and be the guy that's like, you know what? Nick beat you fair and square. I'm going to stand up for a guy that I respect and admire, and you are going to shut the fuck up because I'm Drew fucking McIntyre. It's not his real name, but it should be.